The story of King Prithviraj and the crow's wisdom. Once upon a time in the kingdom of Rajanpur, there was a wise and just king named Prithviraj. Known for his strategic mind and sharp intellect, King Prithviraj was respected not only by his subjects but also by neighboring rulers. However, despite his wisdom, he sometimes found himself making decisions that left him vulnerable to deceit and misjudgment, especially when it came to his relationships with others. One day, while sitting in his royal garden, King Prithviraj called for his most trusted minister, Vishnu, to discuss a matter that had been troubling him. His kingdom was peaceful, but there were some growing concerns about the trustworthiness of his allies and the efficiency of his resources. Minister Vishnu, the king began, I am surrounded by advisors and allies, yet I sometimes feel uncertain about whom I can truly trust. There are many matters I must deal with, but I fear that I may not always be as vigilant as I should be. Vishnu, a man of great insight and devotion to the king, smiled wisely and responded, Your Majesty, trust and vigilance are indeed crucial to a ruler's success. But there is much to be learned from a humble creature that many might overlook, the crow. If you observe the crow carefully, it has 5 excellent qualities that can guide you in your role as a leader. A crow? King Prithviraj asked with curiosity. What wisdom can be found in such a common bird? Vishnu nodded. Let me tell you a story. The 5 lessons of the crow. Minister Vishnu began his tale. In the ancient times, there was a clever crow who lived in a dense forest. Unlike other birds that lived in flocks, the crow was often solitary and watched the world with keen eyes. One day, the crow overheard a conversation among some wild animals who were planning to raid a nearby village. The crow, being intelligent and cautious, immediately recognized the danger to the village and its people. But instead of acting impulsively, the crow applied the following 5 principles, which we can all learn from. Union in privacy. The crow, when it sought a mate, did not make its intentions known to all. It kept its private matters, such as its relationship with its mate, secret and safe. Similarly, in life, it is essential to maintain privacy in one's personal affairs, particularly in relationships. Trust and intimacy should remain guarded, shared only with those who deserve it. Boldness. When the crow found itself in danger or when an opportunity arose, it did not hesitate. It would act boldly, flying quickly and decisively to safety or to secure what it needed. In life, boldness is necessary to take risks and face challenges head-on. Whether it's taking a stand for what is right or seizing an opportunity, one must act with courage. Storing away useful items, the crow was always preparing for the future. It would gather food, store it in hidden places, and be ready for the lean times ahead. Even in seasons of abundance, the crow understood the importance of planning for the future. As a ruler, you must store away resources, whether wealth, knowledge, or alliances, that will help you in times of crisis. Watchfulness. The crow was vigilant, always keeping an eye on its surroundings. It was aware of the movements of predators, changes in the environment, and the approach of any danger. Similarly, watchfulness is essential in leadership. Always be aware of the people around you, the state of affairs in your kingdom, and any threats that may arise. Not easily trusting others. Finally, the crow never trusted anyone easily. It was cautious about who it shared its food with and who it allowed near its nest. The crow knew that some were opportunistic and deceitful. In life, you must be wary and not trust others blindly. True trust must be earned, and one must be cautious, especially when making decisions that affect your future. Applying the crow's wisdom. King Prithviraj listened intently, contemplating the 5 lessons that Vishnu had shared with him. He realized that these were qualities he needed to adopt more fully in his own life. The first lesson, union in privacy, reminded the king of the importance of keeping personal matters and relationships private. He had often shared too much about his plans with others, making himself vulnerable to manipulation. The second lesson, boldness, struck a chord with the king. He recalled times when he had hesitated to act, unsure of the outcome. He realized that boldness, taking decisive action, especially in difficult circumstances, was a quality he needed to cultivate. The third lesson, storing away useful items, made the king reflect on his kingdom's resources. He had always been generous with his wealth but realized that he needed to be more strategic in saving for the future. Ensuring the kingdom's prosperity during hard times was just as important as the current wealth it enjoyed. Watchfulness. The fourth lesson, resonated deeply with the king. He knew that as a ruler, he had to be constantly aware of the affairs of his kingdom. There were many who sought to deceive him or betray his trust, and he needed to remain vigilant at all times. Lastly, the lesson on not easily trusting others was a reminder that even those who appeared loyal might have their own interests. The king understood that trust must be earned and that he needed to be careful with whom he shared his plans and resources. The transformation of King Prithviraj. From that day forward, King Prithviraj began to incorporate the crow's wisdom into his life. He became more private about his personal relationships, especially with his family and closest advisors. He started to make decisions with greater boldness, no longer waiting for the perfect moment, but acting decisively when necessary. He stored resources carefully, making sure his kingdom was prepared for any unexpected challenges. He became more watchful, closely observing the movements of his enemies and allies alike. And most importantly, he learned to trust others only after they had proven their loyalty, never taking anyone's word at face value. As a result, the kingdom of Rajanpur grew stronger, more prosperous, and safer under King Prithviraj's rule. His subjects admired his wisdom, and neighboring kingdoms respected him as a ruler who was both fair and formidable. The moral of the story. The story of King Prithviraj teaches us that the smallest of creatures can offer the greatest lessons. The crow, though often overlooked, possesses 5 qualities that are essential for success: union in privacy, keep personal matters private and protect your closest relationships. Boldness, be courageous and take decisive action when necessary. Storing away useful items, plan for the future by saving and preparing for times of need. Watchfulness, be vigilant and aware of your surroundings and those around you. Not easily trusting others, trust must be earned, be cautious before placing your confidence in others. By applying these principles, we can navigate life's challenges with wisdom, strength, and security. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.